Welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna get into some wild stuff that Americans said this past week. So prepare yourselves because yeah, as we know, Americans definitely could be a trigger for a lot of people. So with that being said, what's smoking on what's smoking on my dragons, divine righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking. And this is gonna be on Reddit. So we're gonna go ahead and search Reddit. We're gonna find out like immediately what Americans have said this week. So within the last what is it, 7 hours ago, someone said in Europe you can't buy utility knives. So Europe, where you can't buy a utility knife. America, where they have no idea what Europe is like, was the response. All right. So I've never been to Europe. Um, Not once in my life. Would love to go to Europe. But I would imagine that you could find a utility knife somewhere in the continent of Europe. So I don't I don't yeah. That one definitely is weird. Sorry, we've been too busy working to pay for your defense. This was 2 days ago. All right, Americans seem to have finally invented vacation. Why millennials and Gen Z are taking micro retirements and how you can too. And then someone says, "Sorry, we've been too busy working to pay for your defense." Let me look at those comments. Let's see what people got to say about this. We get to actually dive fully into the conversations here, which is pretty cool. And I'm so hyped because I just learned how to do all this, like as far as sharing the screen. Because I was wondering for a while, like, how can I do videos like this? And here we are. We just leveled up, guys. Some of them really ate up MAGA talking points without ever asking themselves if it makes sense. Someone else said, of course not. Why think when you can devour populist BS where the world is easy and everyone who doesn't do anything wrong is to blame for your problems? If they understood it, they'd probably be really depressed. You have free healthcare because we paid for it. So why can't you enjoy free healthcare too? What do you guys think about that in the comments? I mean, some stuff is just like, really? Come on. Come on, guys. We give all of our money to other countries so they can live like this. Another one. Here we go. Here we go. Americans. And there's a lot of smart Americans, guys. Please don't let the internet make you think that's how all of us are, because there's a lot of amazing, intelligent Americans, but unfortunately, yeah, there is a lot of people who are delusional, you know, and have a superiority complex for sure. I'm not gonna lie about that at all. The American mind cannot comprehend this. So someone said, I don't know, looks pretty expensive. Maybe a lifetime bucket list type vacation slash dinner. And you are right. Most Americans can't comprehend this because we give all of our money to other countries so they can live like this. Now, I guess if that's what you believe, I could see why there's Americans that would believe that if they, believe all the BS out here, and once again have that superiority complex and thinks, um, I could see why people would think that. I can see it's dumb, but American anti-fascist flag. Let's look at this. Hmm. This is from 4 hours ago. I got like this that feeling like I'm trying. I be feeling like I'm a press something and something gonna mess up. That's why I'm kind of like, hold on. It's my first time doing all this. Well, it's not my first time, but I'm still new to it. It's my first time on Reddit though, for sure. Like doing a screen share. When fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in a flag and carrying a cross. Some bloke. I thought it was carrying a Bible. I also hate that my phone dictionary capitalizes Christian proper nouns, no matter how many goddamn times I remove the spelling from the dictionary. A Bible is a name and therefore has a capital letter. I mean, these conversations are wild. I'm just kind of. I will be in Rome on the 4th of July and was wondering if anything would be closed as a result of our holiday. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, a lot of these things I really don't know what to say, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be kind of stuck. Like July. I, I will be in Rome on the 4th of July, and I was wondering if anything will be closed as a result of our holiday. Also, it's on a Monday this year, so I know there are a few things that are closed on that day in general, but I wanted to know if there was anything else that would be. And let's see what people got to say about that. Whew. So, this person said, my wife and I went on a vacation last year, and I met an American couple our age, early 30s. They asked what we do in Canada for the 4th of July. So, as a joke, we pretended not to know what it was and asked them to explain it to us. The wife just kept calling it the 4th of July, the 4th of July. And the husband finally said, I think it's our Independence Day or something like that. No, Canada, along with the rest of the world, does not celebrate American Independence Day, as shocking as it might be. It just goes back once again to that superiority complex that I keep talking about. That. See, I be feeling like I'm oppressed something. Hold on. That superiority complex I be talking about, where there's so many Americans out here that really do believe that everything just kind of revolves around American culture. I'm not gonna lie. I meet a lot of people like that. And it's that it's like a entitled, privileged kind of way of thinking. Like, a lot of them see the world as everybody follows America. Like America's the king on top of sitting on top of the throne, on top of running the castle, and everybody pretty much just follows behind America and wants to be American. That's a big mindset out here. That's a lot of people's thought process. Someone said I'm a CDN slash USA dual citizen. Oh, that's nice. Dual citizen that grew up in Canada. When I moved to the southern USA, so many questions like that popped up. My favorite was when someone asked me about some event in American history, and I wasn't familiar with it. They said, "They don't teach you about American history in history class, or about America." And I don't know why I'm reading it like that. I just kind of feel like it's like some southern, just someone who once again thinks that the world is just the whole world's American. They don't teach you about American culture in history class. We're flabbergasted to learn that no, we learn about Canadian history in Canadian history class. The ignorance and audacity is insane. They were also shocked that we have our own currency, also called the dollar, and it wasn't American. Yeah, yeah. I'm telling y'all, bro. I grew up in America. Um, and there's, like I said, there's a lot of smart people, but I don't know, something weird happened. You know, like when social media took over. Like, cause when I sit back and I think about when I was in class, when I was in school, uh, there was a lot of intelligent people for sure. Like people really, I remember the class debates. I remember, um, even in just the cafeteria, the conversations amongst different tables, and there was a lot of intelligent people from young. I mean, even from middle school, elementary school. Like I'm serious. I remember me being a millennial. There was so much, like people were smart, were very smart, and it seems like once I'm not gonna lie, it's like a lot of people let social media just just completely take over their brain. Um, and then I do feel like also drugs, drugs definitely, you know, play a part. I mean, I'm just trying to understand. It's hard to. It's hard to. It's hard to because you got to think about it. People that think like that, especially in the South, if you really think like that, like you think America's just, then you might still think it's like the Jim Crow era out here. Like, yes, I have ran across people like that. 100%. You got to be very careful with certain people out here, for sure. Star. I'm just gonna skip some. Let's see. Europe will soon be a country controlled by the USA. They are speaking English, which means Europe will soon be a country controlled by USA. Otherwise, they'd speak their language. And someone replied, "Where do you think English came from?" Wow. So if you know, then you know a lot of people don't even feel like us Americans speak the proper English. So to feel like we're the only ones that speak English and that we, started it or whatever, like that's wow. It's just now I'm sitting back and I'm starting to really remember some of the stupid stuff people have said to me out here. Like people have said some crazy stuff to me. I remember bringing up before about how when I was a kid, my friend's mom said, when she found out that my mother was from Nigeria, she said, "Do they still burn people in Africa?" That was wild. I was in fifth grade. That was wild. That was wild. Um, I've had a lot of ignorant statements made towards me. Matter of fact, there was another one. One of my somebody I was cool with, that I grew up with. Um, a so-called white kid, and we were talking about history, and I started talking about the Native Americans, and he was like, something I said, and he was like, Native Americans, they're European though. Your Native Americans are European, and like I'm like, I honestly like when I hear something like that, like when he said they're European, like that's a native. When I hear stuff like that, I mentally exit the conversation. Like I literally just be like, yeah, you know what? Like yeah, I'll let them keep talking. I don't. I'm not gonna argue. Like I'm not gonna. Okay, sure, sure, sure. USA doesn't have a bad history. Every country in the world has slaves. Oh, here we go. Many still do. I, this meme they posted. I'm not ashamed of my history. Exactly. That's the problem. You should be. And then someone said, "That's when the USA doesn't have a bad history. Every country in the world has slaves. Many still do." Um, USA has a horrible history. America has a horrible history. Go watch the movie Sinners, the number one movie in America for a reason because people they resonate with it. And yeah, America has a pretty horrible history. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat that. I'm not going to bite my tongue on that. Um, so once again, that superiority complex, it might have been great for others, but for for my ancestors, uh, that came from New York on my father's side, from South Carolina down there, for my ancestors, it was a lot of it was rough. It was rough, for sure. Jim Crow era was rough. Um, the Irish, they went through a lot. The Sicilians, they went through a lot. Um, the racial discrimination, uh, just so much, so much. I mean, this wasn't that long ago. You get what I'm saying? This wasn't that long ago. America doesn't have the most beautiful history, and my hopefully that changes. And not just for a marketing campaign on TV or something for some type of hidden agenda. But I mean, it has changed. It has. Let me say that. But still, it's still so much ignorance, and that's really what I'm saying. Hopefully, the ignorance changes and everybody just kind of comes together and stops saying stupid stuff like this. Like USA doesn't have a bad history. USA made off of was built off of slavery. Um, was built off of torture, was built off of uh come on man, the backs of indigenous people, the backs of so to say it doesn't have a bad history, that it's just a disrespect. It's a spit in the face. If you say you love America, all right. If you say well, you feel like America's the best, okay, all right. But when you get on here and you say stuff like that, it's pretty much, it's not acknowledging um, people that have went through hundreds of years of oppression in America, not just the us so-called Black Americans, but like I said, the Irish, the Sicilians, before they were accepted into whiteness. Asians went through a lot. Like, this is a boiling pot where, based off of classism, and based off of fitting in. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. I didn't like that, because I've met too many people who are like that. Like, one time, one kid said to me, you're pretty cool for a black guy. Like, you get what I'm saying? If you were, and I said, what? And he, oh, I didn't mean. It's like, all right, so if that's how you feel, right? If you saying that, this was probably 2019. So if you if you saying that now in 2019, if that slips out, could you imagine in the Jim Crow era? Could you imagine? So I can't let people get away with certain things. Let's build for a better future. I'm all with that, but let's not. I'm not here to make people comfortable. I'm not here to do that. And people say crazy stuff. You talking about slavery? It's not even just that. It's a lot that where America does have a pretty ugly history. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not get on here and act that all high and mighty, please. America literally liberated France during World War II. I don't think us would be independent without the French support. Or I don't think the U.S. would be independent without the French support. And then someone said, very, very true. And then someone said, and without America, the French would still be speaking German. And they also said America literally liberated France during World War II, something Britain couldn't do. I'm going to let y'all go in about that in the comments. Those that are from France, my France subscribers. I'm going to let y'all go in on that in the comments. Because, hold on, make sure I'm still in the screen. Make sure I don't get too crazy about because when I put it up like that, for some reason, I can't see myself. Okay, I can see myself now. But, like, boom, I can't see myself. So, hopefully I've been able to see my face this whole time. Okay, let's see. It's just a lot. Let's skip that. I will never understand the caps on Italian water. I'm just gonna say, let's just stop doing videos like that. Let's stop doing videos like that. Seriously, I love Italian water. Even though it's probably not the real thing, but when I go to Wegmans, those different places that they be having that mountain water from, oh man, they be having some good stuff. Can we not disrespect? Can we not say stupid stuff, please, America? Please, my fellow Americans. I don't want them to stop. Hold on. I'm not gonna play the video. All right, I'll play the video. Why is that hard to understand? Someone said my youngest child, as a toddler, had better problem-solving skills than I'm gonna skip this one. I'm gonna just get out of here. Stop it, people! Stop! Let's stop doing this. America, we're my smart Americans. You're out here, man. Let's shine. Please, if you don't got nothing smart to say, it's like, jeez. What? I'm just gonna skip. Let's see. Let's find a good one. The UK is decades behind. The entire UK is like decades behind in terms of technology and innovation. They rather do everything the old way and claim it's better. Someone said, what's wrong with not calling things by the name of a company that makes them? Someone else said, except we're not. We had contactless payment before you. Yeah, I definitely did a reaction on that, and I was surprised to see that. Because maybe that's that, superiority complex in me that I don't know I have, where I probably think, in my head that Americans, get all the time. No, I don't think that. I don't think that, but who knows? I did grow up here, so I'm sure there's flaws that I have that I don't see. But I was surprised when I seen that. Like, oh wow, they had contactless payment, all this stuff before we did. Was a little surprised, not gonna lie. Because over here, you always do kind of get that vibe of like America's always first at everything. Aha, I remember that. They called it a breakthrough or the payment of the future, and we had it for like 5 years. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there. Shout out to Europe, because I feel guilty of that. Like I said, I thought, um, I did think that we had that first. I was surprised people were in the comments saying, "Well, we been have that." I'm like, what? Wow. So yeah. With that being said, guys, um, reacting to these kind of get hard sometimes because it's like I don't know. People are very ignorant. I've dealt with so much ignorance in my life, though. Like I'm used to it. But that's why I'm so kind because I know how it feels to be belittled so much. I know how it feels to be disrespected so much, and what people to be ignorant of your culture and ignorant of who you are, right? And so when I read certain comments where people are just kind of like so ignorant and belittling other places, yeah, it does get annoying. But how I'm gonna counter that is by being that American that's very kind and always doing my best to learn about other cultures, so I don't say nothing that comes off as disrespectful. Which is why I love doing these reaction videos. Which is why I love, I look at my channel now as educational. It's a variety channel, but I look at it as an educational variety channel where we really learn things, whether that's in music, whether that's travel. We just we history. um we learn, we grow, I learn, I grow, and I'm appreciative of all you for that. So with that being said, hopefully I appreciate me too. Right? If you enjoyed this video, definitely don't hesitate to hit that like, that subscribe, that notification bell, and I'll be back more soon. Much love.